so
The WDM. Okay.
Yep, this is the WDM prep. I already went ahead and made a copy. Like I said in my email last night, I named it Hatcher 10:30.
Okay.
That's when your data meeting is, right?
Yes.
Thursday?
Yeah, we switched, right?
Yep,
Yep.
because of relay visit.
Relay tomorrow, right?
Data meeting, prep template, Kinder, ELA. So what you need when you're prepping,
Okay.
pulled up, is always the tracker.
Mm-hmm.
Especially since we're doing a
Assessment.
the copies of the assessment,
The student work.
the student work.
Okay.
Do we have that yet for this assessment?
No, I don't.
Okay, we have the tracker. I'm going to talk about what you'll do after this meeting when you collect the student work.
Okay.
But we should be able to do pretty much everything, and then I'll tell you what to do next with student work, okay? So we are looking for, I have to just pull this up because they're all in the same document.
Mm-hmm.
Kindergarten, domain 3.
Right.
Okay, so the first thing that you do, because you're doing an assessment, you do this top chart. Use this chart when analyzing assessments. You don't do anything, so when you're doing a formative assessment, so like in previous weeks when you were looking at just like an assignment activity 3.1 or whatever, then you're using this other chart. But you don't have to use this other chart because you're using the quintile chart. So I went ahead and let's go through how I got this.
Please.
Yeah, so when you're looking for quintiles, here in column G, it says the overall quintile for sections. And so we have everybody in one document. You have Ariza here,
Okay.
and you just go through and physically count them.
Okay. I'll look at it.
Yep, so for this chart, you count these.
Okay.
So quintile 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4 students for Ariza, and 1, 2 for Walls. And so that's what you put in here. Oh, I mixed them.
Okay.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Count.
4 and 2. You just count them and you put them in here. What I do is count the numbers for each quintile, and then add them all up and then do my percentages.
Okay.
So that was quintile 3. Let's do 1 and 2 combined.
So then you're just going through, and when I see a 1 or a 2,
You count it. That's a 2. 1, 2.
Okay.
And that's all for Ariza. So there's
Right.
2 under Q1 or Q2. Now for Walls.
Walls. You just go down over here. Okay.
1, 2, 3,
3.
and that's it. So you put 3.
Okay.
See?
Yes.
So I went ahead and did that for Q4 and Q5, so you don't have to do it right now. The total number for each class was 24. So you're dividing 2 by 24 to get your percent. So
Total number.
8% of students are in Q1 or Q2.
Total number of students. Okay.
Total percentage of students in that quintile for each group. So looking at your data, which is the highest quintile here?
4.
Yep, which is good. That's towards the higher end. So overall, the students did okay on this assessment, but there's still an area where we're going to need to reteach. So now let's unpack it.
Okay. Okay.
So strengths. Now here it says choose question numbers or standards that are strengths.
Done.
So you go back, and this is where you use this side.
Okay. And I know how to do.
And remember, Ariza and Walls are here.
Right.
So you can see that they both had 18% mastery for part 1, which is the vocabulary section.
Okay.
So, do you think that's a strength? Okay. So let's go ahead then, and under concerns, question or standards, we're just going to very high level put vocab 18%. Vocab. Just make a note really quick as we're going through the tracker, just to keep your thoughts in line.
Okay.
Here, just number of students in the classes, 40.
Yeah.
That's overall. That's combined. The combined classes.
At that top, okay.
Yeah.
So 46, 42. Well, we're still low, but
it's not the lowest.
It's not the lowest.
I wouldn't say it's a strength. I'd say it's like in the middle.
Middle. Yes.
So comprehension, part 3 comprehension, questions 1, 2, and 3 of part 3. Those were all a strength.
Those are the strengths.
It was 95 and 96.
Those are strengths.
What I think here is, as you're looking at the data between the two classes in each section, do you notice a huge discrepancy, or are they similar?
If you don't mind, pull your computer a little. They're same here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're similar, 46 and 42, and then if you go over here, 18, 8, they're pretty neck and neck.
Yeah. So that leads us to believe there's not a difference in instruction occurring between the two classes, right?
Okay.
Like the tier 1 instruction is probably pretty similar in both of those classes if the students across the board are achieving the same.
Okay.
So this is not oh wow, what happened in Ariza's class? It's okay, we can make the same plan for both teachers.
For both teachers, okay.
When you see a big discrepancy, if you were to look at this and 92% of Ariza's students mastered vocabulary and 18% of Walls's, that's when you're like, I need to dig into each class separately.
And figure out what's going on.
Yeah. What I think for this, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me go ahead and put our strength in here as part 3.
That was comprehension.
Comprehension, questions 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go through now and look for our concerns. But as I was saying, your strengths and concerns, you can add a column over here for teacher if they vary by teacher.
Okay.
You want to differentiate in data meetings as much as possible, even though they're teaching the same thing.
Let me because I had, so if you see, I did this manually, but I was using the wrong. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to walk through that with you because if you don't do the data analysis part in the preparing, right? If you're not, this is why we said we really want to get the preparing piece right, because if you're doing it wrong, you're walking in wrong.
Right.
And they're not going to understand it either.
Okay.
So I want you to fully understand exactly how to explain this to teachers too.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that is coming across as a trend is teachers want to see the usefulness in these trackers.
Why are we doing this?
As an instructional coach, preparing for meetings helps you dig into this stuff to be prepared to help them see that, right? Okay. So we determined vocabulary was a area of concern.
That was 18% for both.
Yep. And then again, we're looking at these 2 rows here. This is overall.
So question 1 was good, but then we're in orange in question 2.
Yeah. We had 100% orange in question 2. The word character. We're okay here. Where else do you see a lower percentage?
Over that 45 and that 41.
45 and 41, so musician.
And then
okay, so we'll just character and musician. Everything else is above 50%.
Right.
Where we want to see it above 80, but we have too many below 80.
Okay.
So now that we have looked at the data and we know this vocab section is a concern, let's go back to, this is where you'd pull in some student work, but we can look at the assessment and drive this section with the assessment. I need to go back to the pacing guide. Now in the pacing guide, you can pull up the assessment.
So we're literally breaking down the data and showing this is where you lie, and then if there's a big discrepancy, this is where your students are struggling on.
We're in this section, priming the pump. Unpack the standard. Right now we need to identify the standard, the gap in student understanding, and we're preparing what we believe their reteach plan should be.
Okay.
We come with all of, in our mind, as if we were the teacher, all of that ready. That's what we come with sparred for the teacher, right?
Okay.
And so that's what this prep document is so important for, because then we're going to script the data meeting. And so you're going to be ready to lead them through this conversation, they're essentially doing what we're doing right now.
Because I already know what your student scored. I already looked at their assessments. I'm already prepared. Now, how do we reteach this to them? Okay.
But you want to walk them through this process because this process is helping them become proficient in looking at data when you're not sitting beside them.
Okay.
Okay, hang on. Let me pull up the assessment now. We are all the way down here, which is crazy. Domain, do you know where it is? Right here? No. Yeah, it's not linked, but that's the data. I'll just pull it up and amplify.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have printed this out ahead of time.
I've been looking at it, but now this is making a lot more sense because it's like making a lot more sense.
Good.
And then, yeah.
Well, now you'll have a script going into the data
Right.
meeting. And that's what you want to have every time.
Okay.
That's your planning and preparation.
That's the yellow page. It's called weekly data meeting.
Yep,
In my,
that's your script. That's basically what's in this planning guide too. So it's an
Okay.
editable version of that. Why am I, okay, I just want to go.
so now that makes sense on my last taping where,
These pieces were missing.
yes, right, completely.
The components of it. They like semi-skimmed the data, but they did not walk away with an understanding of the gap in student learning and a plan for reteach moving forward. Okay, this is annoying.
Where'd you go?
There.
Yeah.
Kindergarten, here we are. We are in knowledge 3. Right, this is where we are.
Lesson, we'll go back to basic level.
Hang on. Lesson 11, domain 3. Knowledge domain 3 assessment.
Yep, right there. Yep.
Okay, so let's look at
The answer key.
the answer key, and we're going to look at what it's asking them to do for vocabulary. That's the answer key for stories. Let's look at the actual assessment itself.
So this is-
I usually work with 5th grade in here, so give me a minute to get to
No,
what I
you're
want.
fine.
In the teacher guide, and it's probably at the bottom. What is it that you have? That's not it.
No, this was just for that last meeting I had that I taped the numbers. I did it manually.
Okay. Here's where it is. Okay, so we see character here. So the teacher says, I'm going to ask a question using a word you have heard in the read alouds. If the answer to the question is yes, circle thumbs up. If the answer is no, circle thumbs down. I will ask each question 2 times. Let's do number 1 together. Then they do fiction. So we get to character. Is the main character in the 3 Little Pigs the house made of bricks? And so it's asking them to actually it's asking them not to define the word.
No, it's saying who is the main character basically.
Who is the main character? So to identify the main character. So you have to know the definition of character. So now let's go into our planning document. And we're going to insert a know and show chart as we unpack the student work.
So the student needs to know what a character is.
definition of
a
character. This, oops, I'm going to put no here. The student also needs to know the story elements of the Three Little Pigs.
Mm-hmm. And then can we add one more? Be able to identify the main character.
So that is how they show.
Okay.
The story elements of the Three Little Pigs.
Okay.
Because if they don't know Three Little Pigs, they're not going to be able to identify the main character.
Okay.
Identify the main. And here for definition of a character, they know definition of a character. They know that a character is a person in a story.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to show that a main character is the central character in a story.
Okay.
Let's keep looking at the assessment now. Let's go back. And so we would also look at student work here.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I want you to take this back when you get the student work and make sure what we identify or what we're predicting that the gap is as we're doing this, just looking at this and knowing this was their lowest. At least we have the data so we can identify that this was their lowest, but really looking and seeing in the student work, what are they choosing? What is their most common error? So when we look at the answer page, now going down to the answer page, it's thumbs up or thumbs down. They're saying either or. So you're not really going to be able to unpack, like, they're choosing a different main character, they're choosing something else. In this question, if they're saying thumbs up, that yes, the house made of bricks is a main character, what do you think their common misunderstanding is when we go back to our know and show chart? If we are saying we know a character is, the definition of a character, I'm going to put it in parentheses,
they're missing out on the other two in the story. They're missing out on the other two pigs.
But they're saying it's a house.
So they're missing out completely. That is about pigs and not a house.
Yeah, and a character, the definition of the character is a person or a. Let's see what the definition is that they gave them in this lesson. We want to use the same language that they gave the reading. This standard is students will identify character plot. It's RLK3. We need to know that too. So I'm going to put here for standard, most common error is standard RLK3. Identifying character in familiar stories. Well, it's character plot setting, but we're focusing on character.
Mm-hmm.
And here in the planning guide, it says teacher 1, 2. This is where if it was different, you would identify the different errors between the teachers. But because when we looked at the data, it was the same. You can put the same.
Okay, and up here, teacher data different identified. But they were both 18%.
Mm-hmm. So, going back to the definition. Okay, the definition they give a very simple. A character is in a story is who the story is about. Characters can be people or animals in the story. Most of the characters in the stories In this domain are animals that can talk. Okay, so instead of just saying people, we'll say it's a person or an animal in a story, because that's the definition they gave them. And you want to make sure you're consistent with what they're saying.
People and person. I'm sorry, people and animals.
And then we'll put the main character is who the story is about.
Mm-hmm.
Just so we're using the same language in our know and show chart that they're given in their task, and that that aligns with the standard. You want to make sure that you're doing that. And another part of this standard is identifying character, plot, and setting, which is the story elements. I'm going to put in parentheses character, plot, and setting.
Okay.
Okay. So now we're seeing that if they put thumbs down for that question, for question 1 about character,
They know that it's not the house.
They know it's not the house. But most of the students, because a majority of them got it wrong, said it was the house.
Right.
So looking at our know and show chart, what do you think the misunderstanding was?
Students cannot determine that a character is a person or a animal. The misunderstanding was they thought the home was the main character, when it's really the pig.
Yeah, so what we want to say when we're looking at our gap statement is key gaps between student work and our exemplar. So you need one, you would bring an exemplar. You're circling thumbs up or thumbs down for these questions. You would obviously circle thumbs up. The main difference is that you circled thumbs up and they circled some thumbs down. It's a little bit trickier with these simplistic tasks in kindergarten to make a true exemplar. Like when we get to 5th grade, we're annotating, we're highlighting, you
can do an actual written response.
Yes, but you want to make sure that your gap statement is connecting to your know and show chart, which we already made sure connected to the task and connected to the standard.
Okay.
So students, and I'm writing it initially just based on this question. Okay. Because this is the one, and we're going to go look at that other question that we identified, musician, but character was the lowest one.
Right.
And they had to understand the definition of a character in order to determine who the main character was. Okay. So students cannot yet determine the main character of a story because they do not understand
the meaning of character.
Understand that a character is a person or an animal. If they had that basic understanding, if their brains had flipped when she asked that question aloud, if their brains had been like, wait, a house can't be a main character, because that's not a person or an animal. That's their main no, right? So you have the show here. What can they not show? Because what do they not know?
So question, as we're going along, and I know we're not there yet. Now we see it. How would we reteach that to them?
Yeah. So you're looking ahead now. That's where we're going.
Okay.
So now we've named it, right? We saw it. We saw the gap. Here's the gap. We named the gap. We named key to the reteach. The conceptual misunderstanding is the no. They don't know the definition.
Right.
The procedural gap, the show, is they can't identify a main character because they do not know the definition of a character. Okay? So we have our know and show chart. Okay. Now, plan the reteach. You were on the right track.
Okay, so now
But we want to make sure that we go into the meeting highlighting the areas that I'm physically going to highlight on our know and show chart.
Am I bringing actual copies of this, or
you should get your teachers to a place where they are also coming prepared. On their weekly data meeting planning sheet, they should come prepared with a know and show chart as well.
Okay.
So that they have their exemplar, you have your exemplar, they have done this work.
But now that makes sense what he was showing, because Dr. Mickens would have them do a know and show on the board, and then let me see your exemplar.
At this part in the data meeting.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay, so when when you're going over this with them, what you want to say, you've looked at the exemplars. We looked at the student exemplar. That's what we just did. Take 2 minutes. You give the teachers 2 minutes. What are the key gaps between the rest of our student work and the exemplar? What did they not understand? Look back at our know and show chart. They're doing that part we just did together on their own. And then you're making sure that it aligns with the pre-work you have done.
But I've already done this.
Yes, but you are doing it prepared to lead the discussion of them doing it. When you pull out your know and show chart in here where it says unpack the standard, that's why we went to, the standard is RLK3. We then went back to the assessment. We read the definition they gave them.
Right.
We read the question on the assessment. So we unpacked, we interpreted the standard, we analyzed the text and the task. Take 1 minute in your own words. So that's when you do that with them. We're looking at standard, RLK3.
Okay.
Now interpret that standard. The standard is, this is exactly what you're going to say to them. Students will identify character, plot, and setting in similar stories. For this question, what do students need to know and be able to do to master this task? That's when they will take a minute, give them 1 minute to think of their own know and show chart, right? They do this. And then chart it together. But you already have your exemplar. You already have your plan ready.
Right.
So if they don't land here, you lead them here.
Okay.
Okay? And again, I'll be at your meeting to help you with this.
Yeah, no, this...
You go last. It says go add anything that's missing. So take what they have, make it fit, okay? And then you add anything that's missing. Then you take the teacher's written exemplar, review the teacher's exemplar. In this, it's just circling thumbs up, thumbs down. How does this part align with the standard? Is there anything you would add to our chart to unpack the standard? You're also, like, in this task, it's more important to review what they were told about what a character is and what they're being asked to do in the question. Now, then, we took 2 minutes. What are the key gaps? So now we know this question asked them to, is the main character in The Three Little Pigs the house?
Right.
We know they were told that a character is a person or an animal. They answered that the house was the main character.
Right.
What is the gap? Remember when we went back and then we read in our know and show chart? So at that point in the meeting, you point them back to their know and show chart and you say, what in here is going to drive our gap statement? Using the language of the standard and exemplar, what are the key misconceptions? Which is what we did. We used the language of the task, basically.
Right.
Students cannot yet determine the main character of a story because they do not understand that a character is a person or an animal. And so then you move on from here. Here's where we script, okay? So you are just reading all of this for the see it portion. That's what we just did. That's all this. So you start the data meeting, share with the celebration you observed at the classroom. So is there a celebration you can think of from kindergarten that you want to share?
They had the RTI meeting this morning.
I would share something specific to the data meeting last week. Is there something?
They all had their data and it was in the tracker.
But no, like that they did in their classroom as a result of your data meeting last week. If you don't have anything yet, you will moving forward.
I need
okay. So I would then instead just say, can everyone share, quick second, everybody share one quick celebration that you had in your classroom this week. Let them share.
Okay.
And then just, and move on.
Minutes. Okay. Don't go rogue.
Don't go rogue, yeah. Narrow the focus. So today I want to dive into, I'm going to type right in here. I'm going to type in bold what I'm changing so you can see. RLK3 was the standard, correct? Yes. Yep. RLK3. In the following assessment item, we're going to look at question 1 from part 1, vocabulary. Take 1 minute in your own words. What do students need to know and be able to do to master this test? Chart it. Okay, so then
students need to be able to identify the character,
They need to know the definition that a character is a person or an animal, and they need to show that the main character is who the story is about. And then the story they need to know the main story elements are character, plot, and setting, and they need to know that about the Three Little Pigs, and therefore they can show the main character the Three Little Pigs. Okay. So you're just going through each of these parts like we talked about. Now let's take a example of unmastered student work. This is where you would have the student work.
Okay.
You don't, because they're just circling thumbs up and thumbs down, you know that if they get it wrong, they're circling thumbs down.
Right.
So what we're looking at is the question. Why would they say that's not the character? Because they don't understand, again, that a character is a person or an animal and not a inanimate object. I'm going to copy our gap statement down here. You have it up here, but I'm going to copy it down here into the script. As you're going through this, so our key area to reteach is students cannot yet the definition. The know part of it is the definition of a character in a story. And the show part of it is identifying the main character of the story. So you're planning out what you're reteaching. That is what they need to reteach, because that is a clear misunderstanding. And that will show up in unit after unit after unit. So then you have them look at the reteaching strategies page. That is in,
Okay, I'm listening.
I'll link it in here for you.
Okay. Reteaching strategy page.
That was there. It's in their weekly data dig form, so they should come with this already prepared too.
Okay.
Because this is what they're doing.
So they need to come prepared.
Yep. So then you are going to show them
So
this
excuse me. So I'm trying to track where you are.
right here.
Okay.
Plan the reteach. Select the reteach structure. I linked it in here for you, so you pull this up. These are the reteaching strategies. It's based on the data.
Okay.
So, most useful when most scholars struggle to meet the criteria for success, and or there's a particular skill that scholars struggled with that shows they did not understand the key concept. So because our data is below 80%, this is what we would go with. This is when scholars nearly meet it. So if we were closer at like 60, 70%, we would option B. Same thing for option C. But when you have most of your students not meeting this, they're going to model this again.
Okay.
So how do they do that? So you guide them through this. So don't tell them like I just told you.
Okay.
Have them pull this up. And it's linked in their weekly data meeting prep sheet. Okay. So it's linked right here in their data dig form. If they don't have it, pull it up for them and ask them to take a look at it and choose a reteaching strategy that they want to use.
And what was the exact name of it?
Modeling. It says, should we use modeling or guided discourse, and why? So the answer is modeling. Because the majority of the students did not meet the CFS for this task. So then it says, select an upcoming task and needed knowledge and identify an exemplar response. Select materials, task, student work. Is there any knowledge that we need to activate or teach that will help them understand? Have teachers now. Where are they at in the pacing guide? We are on, it's October 28th. So something they're doing, they're still working on a performance assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have a pausing point. Oh, lesson. Okay. Let's do something. You're having this meeting here. They're not going to get to their next lesson until...
Whoa.
Oh no, we can do, let's look at Unit 5, Lesson 1, 2, or 3. Because they're starting that. Kindergarten, great. Knowledge.
This is helpful though. This is, I remember this from the relay training and I remember the book, but actually this is helpful.
Good. I'm just looking for when this shows up again in their upcoming lessons.
Okay.
Oh, not skills. I was in the right farms. Unit overview, let's see. Okay. I think that what we need to do is, okay, they do have a read aloud. So here, when they're looking at a verse from Old MacDonald Had a Farm, they can easily insert, hey class, during our last unit, we were asked about main characters. Can anybody tell me what the definition of main character is? If nobody can, a main character is
a person or an animal.
In the story. So they're asking the students all of this. They can insert it there. They can say, I think a main character in this story was it the farm? Could it be the farm? They're doing a think aloud. No, it can't be a farm because a farm is not
A
person or an animal. The main character in this verse is Old MacDonald because he's a person and it's about his farm. So they go into their model voice.
Right.
Model that. Take 2 minutes during lesson 2. And then they plan. That's what they're doing during activity 2, lesson 2.
Okay.
And then my phone is blowing up over there. Now they have the read aloud.
And then go back into the room.
And then for a quick exit ticket at the end of the read aloud with the moo moo here. Oh, but that's probably a nonfiction. So let's go to their next lesson. And you're just looking for places they can pop this quick knowledge in. So we're at Knowledge by Farms. We did lesson 3. I'll just look at this, it'll be easier. Is it all? I'm going back to the. Okay, so through lesson 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're reading Old MacDonald Had a Farm, and so each day as they read a different stanza of Old MacDonald Had a Farm, I would have them remind students, remember what a main character is? A main character is a person or an animal in a story. Remember, is the main character the farm? No, the main character is Old MacDonald. Remind them that every lesson. And then when they get to lesson 6, when they're reading all kinds of crops, or lesson 7, where they're reading The Little Red Hen, probably both. Let's look at what both look like. They can throw a question in there when they're questioning the students, or an exit ticket, or something really quick, or even a speak out loud.
And this will give me an idea where they're laying on a formative assessment. Okay.
It's just a reteaching, giving them an opportunity to relearn this really quickly.
And you will observe when I do this on... Okay.
You have them actually script it during this. I would script it with you, but we're going through this whole thing. But I'll help you have them script it during the meeting, okay? But they're basically here, they're planning for the reteaching, so they're scripting. Your reteach plan is for them to, during lessons 1 through 4 of Unit 5, remind students what a main character is. And I'll type all this out for you after.
Okay.
And then in lesson 6, when they go to a new text, this is just really hard because most of these texts are nonfiction. I think The Little Red Hen. Yeah, so we can do it in lesson 7.
Okay.
At the end of the read aloud in lesson 7. During the comprehension questions, they can add a question in there. Just checking their understanding of what a main character is. Have them do the thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay.
Who is the main character? Is the main character
The
The Little Red Hen? I wouldn't do that. I would throw a trigger one in, like they do.
Is the main character in the Little Red Hen the barn or
the barnyard?
barn?
Yeah. As she was scratching around in the barnyard one day, the little round hen found some grains of wheat. You can say, is it the grains of wheat? Is it the barn? Anything that's an inanimate object. But we'll script this out. I will script out an exemplar script that then you can bring, because part of what we do, so we selected the reteach structure, which is the model. We selected the upcoming task and needed knowledge and identified the exemplar response. So lessons 1 through 4 is when they're modeling. Lesson 7, when they read the Little Red Hen, is when they're checking for understanding. What is the ideal answer we want to see that we will see, and we've showed the gap. They can identify the Little Red Hen is the main character. And why? Because it's a person or an animal. Plan the reteach. So you want to say, take 5 minutes and write your script. I will do the same, and then we can spar. But I will write that for you so you have it ready. So they're writing the think aloud and questions, which we just went through. Is the barn the main, or is the farm the main character in Old MacDonald? Yes or no? No. Is the barnyard the main character in the Little Red Hen? No. Those are our scripted questions. Let's compare our reteach plans. And then you pair them up to practice.
Okay.
Now, quite honestly, we have not in our data meetings been getting to this part as quickly as we want to, because looking at the exemplars and identifying the gap is taking quite a bit of time. Our goal is to get this done quicker so we can get to this part. So then you have Maddie and Mara pair up with each other and read, okay, I'm reading Old MacDonald. Now class, just treat each other like students. Teacher A, take 2 minutes to go through your reteach script. Good. Teacher B, provide feedback. Now switch. Teacher B, go through your reteach script. Teacher A, provide feedback. Now switch. And then you wrap up the meeting. During the last 2 minutes, and this is what you're putting in your coach's meeting agenda with me. Okay. Is what data you've identified, and then what you identified as their reteach plan. So you're going to put, they're going to model during Knowledge Unit 5 how to identify main character. They're going to review the definition. They're going to model how to do that. And I'm going to either A, go in and watch them and provide them feedback, B, co-teach it with them, or C, model it for them. And that's what I think for Maddie and Mara, you're probably going to be good just going in to provide feedback.
And that's what you were talking about in our coaches meeting, the next level we're going to.
Yes.
They need to model, co-teach, or okay.
Yes. So, start the follow-up plan, when they're going to teach it. We already have that. Lesson 1 through 4, they're modeling it. Lesson 7, they're assessing it. And when to revisit the data after they do this. And you're observing the implementation, and identify moments where they can continue to do it. So after they do it, you have a conversation with them. Do we need to keep spiraling this in? It's a very easy thing to do because they're reading things all the time. They can do quick checks about, do they understand the definition of main character and how to identify a main character.
Okay.
It's a lot.
It's a lot,
but I think we have your script. We put it all in here.
But actually, go back to that. That's what the data sheet you were just showing.
Oh. This?
Yes.
The tracker?
Seeing where I'm supposed to put this in the WDM form, and given now I'm feeling it's almost like the window open. I'm looking at it. It's like I'm like, okay, now I see 18% versus the numbers I was putting in. So I'm excited about this, and I'm excited about tomorrow too with the
practice clinic.
Oh, I've been practicing.
Good. Well, and ideally we would have practiced your data meeting right now. Okay. But I think what was more useful for you is to really see the parts of it. And that's why I'm going to send you my data meeting video. Yes, and I want you to go through and on a blank planning sheet, put, okay, in minute 1 of the video, I see her see the past success. Just identify where you see me do it so you can start internalizing what that sounds like.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So I will follow up by sending you a exemplar reteach script.
And your 30-minute video.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll share this planning document with you that we have done for your data meeting.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Sounds good.